Oh, I learned why the other time it cut off stuff short.
Mm-hmm.
It was because my phone can't record more than X amount of time for video.
Do you know the X amount of time?
It's more than an hour and a half.
Perfect.
So I didn't realize that, and then I was like, oh, what if I deleted all of this video that I already have up on YouTube? And lo and behold.
Like once it's already saved, it'll keep.
Yeah, I was like, once it's already saved, why is it me on my phone? At that point.
As long as it's saved somewhere.
Hello. Oh, I'm not even plugged in. Why can I even hear myself if I'm not even plugged in?
That would make sense. I can't hear myself though.
Not plugged in. Can you hear yourself?
Nope. Well, I mean, I can hear myself, but not through the headphones.
Not through it. Not. What about now? What about now? No. This is why I love it. You can't hear me?
No.
Not at all.
Keep talking.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I can hear myself. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Wow, that was...
It's really low.
Yeah, that was weird. What about now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I had the mics a little too low.
Damn it, DK.
I just didn't want the buzzing again.
Yes, that's not fun. Alright, good to go
All
whenever you are.
Episode 14. Alright. Oh, here it is. I was like, where did it go? All of a sudden. Oh no, I didn't know where the record button and stuff went, but like it's all
That better not go
newfangled.
anywhere. It's kind of an important button.
Right. Anyway. So I think this week I'm just gonna record this and then edit it after we're done, basically.
Sounds
But
good.
still talk about it as if it's there, basically.
Got it.
All right. Everything good?
Everything's real good.
Real good.
All
All right.
Real good.
Probably should open up the computer as well. I mean, that's a overrated thing, I guess, but... Dude.
Mondays, right? We got a bad case of the Mondays.
Got a bad case of the Mondays. A man could get beat up in my line of work for saying things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Hey, welcome to the basement. It is Monday, and you know what that means? Yep, that means that you are in the basement with Sean and the Heckler. I am David DK Kim, and they call me the Heckler. And over my right shoulder for you YouTube fans, it's a new positioning on the phone, so you can see everybody now when I move my hands like so. Anyway, over my right hand shoulder, my partner in crime in the basement here in Studio A, Sean Steimel, the criminal, as he likes to say sometimes.
Ooh, I love it. That's my new thing. The criminal in the basement.
I know you look forward to Mondays, Sean, but how was your weekend?
Very good. I was just down in Moraga yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Greg Wong and I were calling the UC Davis Portland game.
That's right, hey. And
four-game
congratulations to Nick Lynch. I hear he's
a beast.
A beast. He had like 4 home runs, 8 RBI or something like that.
He had 4 homers in 3 straight games, and then the game we went to on Sunday, I believe he went 2 for 4 or something like that. He struck out a couple times, but he had a couple runs.
Wow.
Put it this way, the entire Aggie team had just went off.
Yeah,
I mean, they had 11 runs or something like that. It was crazy.
I'm friends with Mark Hombo on Facebook, and I've been keeping up on. I didn't know the scores were, but I knew they were winning, and I knew it was an offensive barrage because Hombo just kept talking about all the runs they were scoring.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Nick Lynch's first home run, and then his second home run, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But you know, we're on Aggie Talk, so I just like to say, for those of you out there that want to start off the season well, you know what you got to do now? Come and interview with Aggie Talk. Absolutely. Because Nick Lynch came and interviewed, and he's on fire. It's tradition. It'll now be tradition. Anyway. Sorry.
But that was the highlight of my weekend, was going down there. Got to see a victory.
Cool.
People in Moraga were very good to us.
It looked like a very good, very nice looking stadium from the picture that you posted.
Very pretty, and it was a gorgeous day down there. I mean, I've always heard Moraga's pretty. That was my first time down there, but a very pretty stadium, and a nice little spot for Greg and I to call baseball games. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and that was how my weekend was. What about yours?
Well, I had one thing very, very exciting on Saturday.
Okay.
I went to. It was called Monster Jam. Monster Jam.
Is that Monster Trucks?
It is most definitely Monster Trucks.
Oh my God.
And let me tell you, hold on, let me tell you, you laugh, but...
Are you 12 years old?
You know what? I am 12 years old at heart. I am a kid at heart, and that was, you know what? If you are an American, you need to go to the Monster Truck Rally.
Oh,
Monster.
man.
Hey, you know what? You're from North Carolina. How can you poo-poo?
That's why I'm laughing.
How can you poo-poo the Monster Jam?
I know that culture.
Yes, I was immersed in that culture at O.Co Coliseum in Oakland.
Oh, very nice.
I got to watch. And here's the thing: I didn't know, because I can't. I'm going to admit this on podcast land here. But growing up, everyone knows I did watch wrestling and things of that nature. But every so often, when you turned on, I think it was like Fox or like public broadcasting. You know, I didn't have cable back then, but
yeah.
Or when you had early cable, like the really weird ESPN at 2 a.m. or Fox Sports, I caught Monster Trucks on TV, and I was like so mesmerized at, like, you know, them going over the cars and flipping, and, you know.
Yeah, you didn't change the channel.
No, exactly. And back then, they, I don't know if they still do it here or not, because I've never seen Monster Trucks on TV since then, but they used to, like, interview the drivers beforehand, right?
Yeah.
And
drivers, yeah.
they would cut promos like it was like a wrestling, like a WWE, WWF like wrestling event.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, Gravedigger, I'm coming after you, man. And it was awesome. But to go in my 30s to a Monster Truck Rally, it does put it quite in perspective, because I knew those things sold out, you know, and like a lot of people went to them. But Saturday night, my mind was just blown at how full the O.Co Coliseum. I mean, it was filled with more people than an A's game or a Raiders. I mean, well, no, not a Raiders game, because it was jam. Okay, you know what? The first 5 to 10 rows on the infield, they were covered up. Okay, so maybe not as full, but it was, for the seats available, it was sold out. Like, it was people sitting up to the rafters, basically with signs rooting for these monster trucks and these drivers.
Now, is that more exciting or more depressing that it was?
You know,
more people
for my first time there, wanting to go watch monster trucks, and, you know, having tailgated for about 3 hours, you know, it was awesome. It was awesome. But I don't know. I don't know if I could have just, woke up one day and been like, you know, Monster Jam's on. It's like 20 minutes, so, you know, until it starts. I live about 20 minutes away. I'm going to go.
I'm going to watch.
You know, I don't know if I could do that, but it was exciting. It was something to look forward to for me. I'd never been. And I'm not going to lie, I'll probably go again.
Oh, no.
I probably will go again.
DK, there are better things in life.
Oh, for sure, but it wasn't football season. There's no football on. You know, Duke wasn't playing.
Yeah.
You know, it was okay.
All right.
It was okay.
All right, I'm okay with it then. Cool story. I like it. Monster Trucks in Oakland.
And I got to see Gravedigger. That's the most important part.
I will admit, I do know that Gravedigger exists, just from the countless amount of commercials I've seen from
Yeah, Gravedigger.
Oh my god.
All right. So, for those of you in podcast land that haven't turned us off yet, we're going to talk about some real sports now. So, we're going to start off with a little Olympic recap here. And how much of the Olympics did you watch, Sean?
At least a little bit every day, every night. And I was one of those ones who would be up at 2 o'clock in the morning and watch curling or ski jumping or.
Oh, you know what?
I watched quite a bit of it.
I feel like you and everybody else watched a lot of curling.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was very much into it. I was very disappointed in both American teams, but I was very much into it.
Yeah, you know, I didn't really know much about the women's team per se. But I did have some hopes for the men's team to get into the medal rounds, if not win a bronze or silver. My actual hope for them was probably to finish 4th when they entered the Olympics.
Yeah, they were
And they didn't really do that. So.
But it's fun to watch. They were definitely,
sure.
definitely a fun thing to watch.
So the final medal counts in the Olympics in Sochi. Surprising, Russia won the total amount of medals. They won 13 gold. I think that's the most gold of all the countries in the Olympics. 2 more than Norway. They won the most silver medals, 11 of all the countries in the Olympics. And they got 9 bronze, which is tied for the 3rd most bronze medals in the Olympics. Now,
that's about as much diversity as you're going to get in Russia.
Yeah. That's as much as, exactly. Now, second was the United States. They had 28. It was 9, 7, and 12. They led the nations with the most bronze medals with 12. And then third was Norway. They had 11, 5, and 10 of 26 medals. And then Canada came in 4th, 10 gold, 10 silver, 5 bronze, 25 total. And rounding out the top 5 is the Netherlands. 8 gold, 7 silver, 9 bronze, 24 total. Everybody else is about 5 medals away from those top 5. Now, I mean, you figure Norway, Canada, Netherlands, and the United States will be up there. But were you surprised that the Russians got so many medals?
Yes and no. Yes. Yeah. I mean, mostly yes, but no, it was in Russia.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
and honestly, most of the Winter Olympic sports are based on
hundredths of a second.
or even like based on like a judgment call.
Yeah, mostly judging.
And points given by people with no specific criteria. Like anyway, but that's basically what most of those sports are.
Yes.
And I feel like Russia won a majority of those sports.
Yes, they did.
And I want to say Norway and Canada won a lot of sports where it was, can you win in a time? Mm-hmm. And the United States won, those other ones where it was like everything else, But I don't know. How do you feel about the Winter Olympics compared to the summer? Are you as excited?
The thing I get most excited for in Winter Olympics is hockey. And
that was
I'm
disappointing.
Sure, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
that was utter disappointment for me.
We'll get to that.
But other than that, I've always sat down and watched figure skating with my parents. Those were, like Christy Yamaguchi, Tara Lipinski, all those figure skating routines. We would sit down and watch those. But other than that, I think the summer is much better. I'm a huge basketball fan. I love Summer Olympic basketball. Soccer, when they play soccer, is awesome. Track and field, you really can't get much more excitement than track and field.
That's true. You know what it is? I was saying this to a couple of compatriots. Is that what compatriots?
Compadres, compatriots.
People that come frequent your bar and patrons.
Patrons.
Sorry. I was talking to some patrons at the bar, at the bar restaurant pizza place that I work with, and I was telling them, why I think a lot of us love the Summer Olympics more than the Winter Olympics just as a whole. Mm-hmm. It's because we've run before.
Yeah, we can do things in the Summer Olympics.
We've jumped into the ocean and swam before, or public pools and swam before. We've played tennis. Maybe didn't belong to a country club, but we've swung a tennis racket before. Yeah. But how many people growing up outside of, say, the Scandinavian countries and Canada
did a triple axel,
or know what a biathlon is? If I said Nordic combined, the name itself indicates that the United States probably won't be good in it. It has Nordic already in it.
I'm thinking Vikings.
Exactly,
I'm thinking
right?
Something like
Scandinavian
classic Scandinavian.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not many of us grew up ski jumping.
Yeah.
Not all of us have a pond in the backyard we can go ice skating in.
The one exception to that, I doubt there's anyone who sat down and watched a curling match and said, "Oh, I can't do that."
No,
those guys are amazing athletes.
I was getting, and
That's the one exception.
And I apologize to the podcast fans out there. I'm sorry. Last week, I timed myself last week after listening to the solo show, and I said it numerous times. When Sean is here, he kind of reels me back in, kind of brings me back to the center.
The moral compass.
The show's moral compass. I apologize. I timed myself.
What are you apologizing
It was like 25 minutes of curling. Like, I explained the game, and then I was like, real quick, but it was like so long, and then like, I told a story about, wow. But yeah, you're right.
I know the Vacaville story. You went to curl on Vacaville.
I did.
It just proves everything that's why you went to Monster Trucks in Oakland.
And that's why I still love WWE and going to live events. Yeah, exactly. And I write signs. I am not ashamed.
No.
What are you gonna do when these pythons come after you?
The true heckler.
There you go. Anyway,
Boy.
but yeah, curling. You know,
Summer's better. The summer
is better.
Are better.
Because like even if I think that I can curl,
Which you can.
which I can,
okay.
but I don't think I can do it at an Olympic level. I mean, for all those you guys out there that think that can, maybe the guy behind me is athletic enough to curl at an Olympic level, and if I curled with him for 3 years, we could do it.
Give us 4 years, we'll be.
But all of you out there that are sitting on your couch, and like I said, we liked it because anything we can sit on the couch, pop a few beers, watch 10 ends like baseball, we're gonna like.
Yep.
But you can't do it.
You can't.
Okay? Just because you can go out to San Francisco or Vacaville and ride on their rink on your knees with some stone during the lesson does not mean you can go to Sochi or go to Minnesota for the U.S. Championships, whatever it is, and make the curling team. That is your PSA from In the Basement with Sean and the Heckler, okay? Just
Curling
don't waste unless you're willing to put the money in.
Unless you're willing to train.
But don't let me hinder you from taking your buddies out one day in the wintertime. Couple of 12-packs, party in the car for a second, don't tell the ice rink.
Or just go to Florida and do shuffleboarding. That's the cheap option.
Yeah, or go to Texas and do table shuffleboarding.
There you go. Yeah.
I went to a Buffalo Billiards. They have the tabletop. Anyway, but you're right though. Summer games is better because we've all done all those things before, and you know what? The 100-meter dash, that's one of the most exciting sports in any Olympic. Back and forth.
Yep, and swimming. Anytime Michael Phelps is in the pool, that was. I mean, we've been spoiled the last 10 or so years with him in the pool.
And I also feel like in America we dominate more in the summer games than in the winter games.
Yeah,
as evidenced in the 12 bronze medals out of the 28. That's a lot of bronze medals. Like, I almost feel like majority of those bronze medals too, they knew they were getting bronze. So
weren't really gold aspirations.
Yeah, which leads me to the last question of the Olympics before we head off to a different direction.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna be a deep question for you, Sean?
I love them.
Do you know how internationally, like, if you say you're an American, you're kind of despised and kind of no one likes you?
Yeah, it depends on where you are, but yeah.
Like a general world view is like we're pompous, we're arrogant, we think we're better than everybody else, kind of thing.
I know what you mean.
Do you think in sport a lot of that comes from the fact that we have a lot of resources to train bronze medalists and just Olympians? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that makes sense, right? With my question.
A lot of the despise comes from our resources. We have, our population is huge, and we have the resources to start at a young level, train, and get up to the Olympic level, and we have, the financial resources to send our people over to wherever the Olympics are played, and that's never really a problem.
And
yeah, absolutely.
Great Britain and China and Russia, they have the same resources, but they're training gold and silver medalists. You know what I mean? If you get bronze in those countries, it's almost a shame. Like you didn't really succeed in those Olympics. But as you can see from the commercials in our country, you don't even be a medalist. To get commercial endorsements anymore. You
don't need to be a gold medalist for Morgan Freeman to narrate your Olympic journey.
Exactly. Which might actually come full circle to that discussion we were having about Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson. About the youth of sports and how everyone gets a participation trophy now. And
winning isn't that big.
Which, when it comes to Olympic time, that's my axe to grind and that kind of mentality. Because I'm like, no. If we're going to send you over there, you better be an Olympic, gold medalist, hopeful. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Just to cap off the Olympic discussion, it's disappointing for the Americans to be in second place in this Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
To not have won the medal count, to have as many bronze as they did.
You
look at a guy like Shaun White, you look at a guy like Bodie Miller.
Yep.
Ted Ligety did his job with the Olympic hockey teams, both of them.
Yep.
The women's team had it in the bag. The men's team didn't even show up for the bronze medal game.
And you know what? I was afraid of that.
Me too.
Before the game, I was like, oh no.
Especially playing against Finland and Teemu Selanne, and they had something to play for. The Americans had nothing to play for. They were just defeated.
Which goes to show you what the mentality is of that team. They wanted gold or nothing. You know what I mean?
For Finland?
No, for Russia, United States. They wanted gold or nothing, and once they lost it, They kind of gave it up, but I mean, like, you could tell how important it was to that particular team.
Yeah, and it was just a disappointing Olympics for the United States. I know Davis and White, the duo of the figure skating, they won gold.
The ice dancing.
That was probably the highlight of the Olympics for the Americans. That was their best thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, ice skating is the equivalent of track and field, pretty much, for the Winter Olympics, so.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know. I was very disappointed watching it. It just felt like every time I was watching an American with, gold medal aspirations, they didn't. Shawnee Davis didn't do anything, and he was supposed to be. He was supposed to win, 2 or 3 different events.
He's a defending world champion with multiple world records and Olympic records.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not Dutch, but watching the Dutch speed skating, they were fun. The twins, I forget their
I know what you're talking about.
Mueller or something like that.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
they were fun to watch. It was just disappointing for the Americans, and it's always fun when the Olympics are on. If you're a true sports fan, you enjoy most of the events of the Olympics. But the hockey, that was just a punch in the stomach for the Americans. They were supposed to compete with Canada and be one of the best teams in the world, and they don't even medal. It's terrible.
Do you think it was more disappointing to lose 1-0 like that? I mean, and the goal that they scored was like a redirection where Jonathan Quick couldn't react to the second reaction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so other than that, Quick was pretty much standing on his head, as they say, between the pipes. And they lost 1-0. Do you think that's harder to swallow because then you have to go to a bronze medal game? Or, like I think, is it even harder to swallow when you have a 2-0 lead in the gold medal game and you end up losing in overtime based on almost a game of inches where if you were watching the women's gold medal match out there, the net was empty for a while. Mm-hmm. And the U.S. women had one shot at the empty net that hit the sidebar and went bouncing out. And literally 20 seconds later, Canada got the game-tying goal, forced it to overtime, and then they win. So, I mean, literally half an inch to the right, and it's 3-1. Gold medal, game over. So, like, I mean, I've heard it discussed. I don't think that 1-0 comes even close to blowing a 2-0 lead against a team that has a 19-game international winning streak, the last 2 or 3 gold medals, the world champions, basically the Yankees of women's hockey, basically.
Here's my response to that question of which one's more disappointing. Who cares? They were both utterly disappointing. The women, I mean,
I agree.
That was horrible.
Yeah,
2-goal lead with 3 minutes left, and you walk away with the silver medal.
You just kind of have to blink and be like, how'd that happen?
You have to win that game. And the men, it's disappointing, but Canada is the best team in the world. They proved it. But to not score a goal was the most disappointing part of that. I don't care about the one redirection goal, but to not score a goal after they had scored, I think, 4 or 5 goals a game in their previous game.
And they had so many chances.
Yeah, and then
so many chances.
The way they went out against Finland was, it was a disappointment.
That was disappointing. I was more disappointed in the 5-0 Finland loss than more so the 1-0 loss to Canada. Like,
no, I was much more disappointed in the Canada loss.
No.
You could tell they weren't playing for anything.
I was disappointed in the result as an American in the 1-0 loss, but as a sports fan, I was more disappointed in the U.S. team as the 5-0 loss because that proved to me that they didn't even show up.
Yeah, they were playing for gold.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it. So it was a disappointing Olympics for the Americans, and even saying that, they ended up in second place.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the state of American sports, and that is why most people dislike us, because we can have a bad Olympics and still come in second in the medal count. So it happens.
Exactly. Well, that does it for the medals and the Olympics. If you're wondering if we're going to talk about figure skating, the answer is no. I don't see why we need to. Everyone's already discussed it. Anyway, that just kind of covers that. But going on to a different direction here, before we get to the Combine, I had to throw out a hearty congratulations to number 88, Dale Earnhardt Jr., because over this weekend he did win his second career Daytona 500. It was
Daytona 500. You got to say it correctly.
Daytona 500.
There you
go. Let me reset. I just want to give a big shout out to my boy Junior.
Dale Jr.
He done the racing thing and he won his second dang darn NASCAR Daytona 500. Congratulations, son. There we go.
That was impressive. Like, I'm from North Carolina, and that was You know how to do that. That's impressive.
I do. I don't let on that I do, but I do know how to do that a little bit.
That was good.
But anyway, Dale Jr. won his second Daytona 500, and I thought that it was kind of fitting on the race where
the
three car was back,
Yeah.
and he was on the pole.
Awesome.
The winner of the race was a son of the three car, the guy who made the three car famous.
Yep, I agree. I thought that was very
And
fitting.
that just you know what, and that's why I love sports, because like I guarantee you, and this is no offense to DEI and Dale Senior's widow, but you guys need a whole big ton of catching up to do, because Dale went over to the other team, split from his namesake's team, and you saw who was pushing him on the last couple of laps, giving him the bump draft, right? Behind him before he went back, Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson was also behind him.
Two legends.
Like, his teammates too, right? So, those two guys, because they didn't have the quote-unquote fastest car at that time because of the weather delay and all that, like, they were behind, and they helped out their teammates as best they can to a win. Now, I don't remember the last time when Dale Jr. was on DEI. The last time I even remember that happening.
It was a while ago.
He's usually out in front, and his teammates are somewhere in the back, or vice versa. You know, this is gonna be an eye-opening experience this year for Dale. He's gonna realize what his father knew when he built DEI, that a championship brand and a championship team is all about family.
Agreed.
So
I'm
hoping for good things for Junior.
like when you texted me that last night when he won, I said that makes me happy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
He's a fan favorite. He's always been a good guy. I love that he won. He's one of those guys that you root for, and he's a good guy in sports. And like you said, he's on a championship team, and championship team's all about family.
He's on Hendricks now, right?
Is it Hendricks Motorsports?
You know what? I wish
think it might be.
Joey was here.
Joey
He would know for sure.
And he would do the voice while he was doing it too.
I hope he was impressed with my southern voice there.
I'm sure he would have been. I was impressed.
Thank you. Anyway, that does it for NASCAR. I don't know if we'll talk any more NASCAR
Something big happens.
unless Dale pretty much wins the championship or whatnot. But we're gonna go switch gears before our first break and take you to the NFL Combine. Yeah, we're going there.
Yeah.
We're going there. You know what? Based on your tennis bracket and you telling me that you watch Charlotte Bobcat and 76er games, I'm gonna assume that you have the NFL Network and you've been watching the Combine.
I've watched every.
That's what I
NFL
assumed.
Combine.
See, do I know my partner?
You know it. I live for the Combine. I love that stuff. Mike Mayock, he's giving us his top 5 at each position. Rich Eisen's doing things. Deion Sanders is on the field. I love the Combine. Fun stuff.
Now, a couple of notables here.
Yes. Real notables.
Johnny Manziel, he ran his 40, and I want to say he ran his 40 in like 4.5 something.
I think it was 4.58.
4.58, and the next closest one was like 4.7.
Yeah,
or something. Just nowhere close.
Johnny was fast. I saw a GIF last night on the internet. It was one of those things where they put two people in the same like camera shot or whatever, and it was Johnny Manziel running the 40 and Colin Kaepernick running the 40.
Really?
Because they used the same camera angles at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And it was them running like together. Their same. It's almost like a video game when that happens.
Yeah.
But Manziel was like just a pace off of Kaepernick.
Wow.
And if anyone has been watching the NFL the last 2 or 3 years, they know how fast Colin Kaepernick is for a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
And Manziel was like right there with him. So that's what you can expect from Johnny football. And there's the whole talk of where's he going to go in the draft. But one thing we do know now, kid can run. Kid is very fast.
Oh yeah. And then there's Jadeveon Clowney.
Beast. Just beast.
Bill Polian.
Yeah.
Who I consider one of the top 5 GMs in the history of football.
Built the Colts.
And he built. Didn't he build the '90s Bills?
I believe he had a part in it. I don't know if he built it.
But he had a hand in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So his track record is solid. He's quoted as saying that the numbers that Jadeveon Clowney has pre-draft style is Bruce Smith-like.
That's pretty good.
Wrap your minds around that, folks.
That's pretty good.
Bruce Smith-like.
Brucey.
right? Like,
I don't know if anyone called him Brucey. Brucey. I just want to do it.
but
Bruce Smith, like folks. Bruce Smith.
that's awesome. Anyway, and he also can run pretty quickly, apparently.
Oh yeah.
He ran the 40 in 4.53 seconds. That's a hair slower than Johnny Manziel, I want to say.
At his height and at his size.
And he is
shouldn't be able to run like that.
6'5.5".
Yep.
266 pounds.
He's a monster.
What?
People that size should not be able to run that fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he has a wingspan, like from tip of your finger to tip of your finger going like this. 83-inch wingspan. That means if he took a step to the left and reached out, he's already almost tackling you as a running back bouncing to the outside. Like, you're not arm tackling him at that point. Like you're going to be here as he reaches out. Like, I'm clotheslining Sean in the distance, with my wingspan. Anyway, I mean,
I love Clowney. I love him. I think he's going to be a solid, solid pro.
And here's the thing, guys. I named two people that combine or no combine, they're going to be solid picks in the first round.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is I don't know if the combine actually tells you anything worth knowing.
It tells you something worth knowing, but it can't be the only factor.
Because it's, I know it's in Lucas Oil Stadium. There's a whole bunch of press there. Everyone watches it on NFL Network the last couple of years. Like you said, Rich Eisen, everyone's there covering it. And, all the guys that you watch, you're like, oh, I've watched him, and it's such a spectacular deal. But didn't you know Jadeveon Clowney was that big?
Absolutely. And I knew Johnny Manziel.
And you knew that Johnny Manziel was fast, and you knew that Marcus Lee can run these routes and catch in shorts and a T-shirt with no one on. Like,
I knew Sammy Watkins was a freak.
Yeah, we all know these things. It's just...
It's more of a chance for guys who aren't well known from some of the smaller schools to get on the same field with some of these guys.
And show that they are just as good, if not better.
That's when you compare the size, you compare the speed. It's more for those guys rather than the big guys. The big guys just can't embarrass themselves. Like if Jadeveon Clowney ran out like a 5-second 40,
they'd be like, oh.
There I would raise eyebrows.
Okay, I get it. So basically, the combine can't necessarily help Jadeveon Clowney. It can only solidify things we thought we knew.
Yeah,
but it can hurt him.
But it could hurt him too, and it did. His combine performance did not hurt him. I think it helped him a little bit.
So my question to you, Sean, because I feel like you have an answer to this, and I'll give you my answer after you answer the question.
Okay, I always love these.
How do you feel about combine first rounders? Almost like those practice squad all-stars and the preseason Pro Bowlers? Like, because in these combines, there are some small school guys that are legit. Like
Khalil Mack from Buffalo.
That need the combine to show scouts how tall he really is, how much he really weighs, his vertical leap, how strong he is, how fast he really is on the 40, and all of that. I get that. But then there are other guys who get invited because they're not really sure. Did he really do it against better competition, things like that, and they star in the combine, and then they may move up in the 3rd and 4th round, 5th round, and then you get to a real practice scenario with other guys from bigger schools, and those combine numbers don't translate because when you're in full pads and in a formation, who cares how fast you can run the 40? Yeah. Can you catch the ball, take a hit, and not fumble? So I don't know.
It's difficult because that's the GM's job. I mean, we can all act as GM as our favorite team. I mean, I played GM for the Yankees all the time when looking at free agents, but that's one of the toughest parts of the combine. Take what you see and put it into perspective on how you're going to draft a guy. Because a guy, like you said, a guy from a small school can come to the combine and star. He can put on a performance that says, okay, that guy can be a stud football player on our team. And then you take him in the first round, and he turns out to be just another guy that you probably could have had in the 5th round, and he would have done the same type of thing. That's the GM's job, to take what they see at the combine, to take what they see at the pro day, and then mix that in with what they see on the actual field from his college days or from his highlight films. Take that all together and stack him up against the next guy at the position who has similar height, similar weight, similar speed, similar hands. it's the toughest thing about the combine because there's so many guys there. It's not like they've invited 5 guys and they're just working out
for
together.
sure.
It's a big group. You go by position. Each day has a position, and they all work out together in groups. Like quarterbacks work out with the wide receivers and sometimes the running backs. But it's the toughest thing about the combine because even as a casual observer, I'm not a casual observer. I watch this every year. There are guys that I see on the combine and I say, wow, why isn't that guy being talked about as a first-round pick? And then he goes in the 3rd round and does some good things. And then there are times that I say, wow, why isn't that guy a first-round pick? He goes in the 1st-round pick because someone took a flyer on him.
And then you're like,
and he ends up being a bust.
He's a bust.
It happens. And it's the toughest thing it's why GM is such a tough job. I mean, anyone can sit on their couch and say, oh, that guy should be the starting quarterback for such and such. It's the toughest thing about being a GM. They're the ones who have to sit down at Lucas Oil Stadium and say, okay, I took notes on this guy, I took notes on this guy, we have tape on this guy. Now we got to go and sit down in a room, get our brain trust together, get the owner, get the GM, get the head coach, get the assistant coach, get the position coaches in there, and make a decision on these guys. A lot of them are so similar. 40 times, like we were just talking about, they can make or break you, but most of the time they break you because if you're an offensive lineman, you're in that 5-second.
This is the first year where I've seen people that are saying, "Wow, that was a better 40 time than I thought he was going to get."
Exactly. They've raised their times a little bit.
I've never heard so many scouts and radio and TV personalities, talking heads, whatever, say, "Well, that's faster than I thought."
Yeah.
Usually it's, "Oh, he must have been on the buffet circuit because that's a lot slower than he should be."
Yeah, exactly. And
then your pro day comes
and things change. But for the casual observers that watch this, even for watching the Olympics, sometimes when you're watching the times. The difference between a wide receiver running a 4.4 40 and a 4.5 40 is really nothing.
No.
As long as you're in that range.
That's just a tiebreaker on guys with the exact same hands, exact same body
and it's
type.
something you can look at, but the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.5 isn't that difference. What I look at when I'm watching 40s, and I know this is what head coaches and GMs look for, is their start. How they're explosive out the top of the 40, and then you watch the end of the 40 of how they finish.
Yeah.
Because
the middle part doesn't really matter.
Think about why they're timing your 40 time as a wide receiver. It's for running a streak route, running a deep route on a cornerback, who cornerbacks are also really fast, how explosive you can be off the line, and how you finish it, and that's the breakaway speed from quarterbacks. Julio Jones is a great example of a guy who ran a great 40 and turned it into a great NFL career. When you see a guy that fast, see the explosiveness off the line and the finishing speed. That's why they're timing the 40s. So when you're in the 4.4, 4.5 range, and the difference between you and another guy is 0.6 seconds, that's not much of a difference. But if you're a wide receiver and you have similar hands, similar size, and you're running a 4.7, and the guy next to you is similar hands, similar size, is running a 4.5,
I'm drafting the 4.5 guy.
I'm going the 4.5 guy,
especially if they're same size.
And look, there's a bunch of different factors that go into it. It's not just the combine results. You got to look at the play on the field, and you got to talk to them. You got to meet. That's why they have meetings at the combine. They meet with the GMs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's only one factor, but really, like you said, the 40s can really only hurt you rather than help you. There have been a couple instances, I will agree, this year has been different, where guys have been like, oh, wow, that guy's a little bit faster than what I thought, got a little bit more explosive, but mostly they hurt.
I think that's also having to do with the training regimens that they go through these days, like the sports
40s.
Performance centers or the private guys that they teach, they hire for hundreds of thousands of dollars to train them to. Well, maybe they don't hire them, but the agency that they go to hires them.
Well, college athletes don't have any money; they don't get paid.
Of course, no one's handshaking them. Here's the money. Anyway, no, sorry. But they pay those guys for a reason.
Yes,
they don't make you get up at 3 a.m. and lift weights and go running because your 40 times gonna go down.
Because they're mean.
Yeah, right.
They do it to help you.
Well, they are mean.
Well, yeah, they do. Yes. I love the combine. I've loved watching it. I don't know about you. My favorite position to watch is linebackers. Because I think linebackers are some of the best athletes in football. And I really enjoyed this linebacker class because there's not really a, stud, oh my God, that's the best linebacker in the class. There are a lot of good outside linebackers. Khalil Mack, the guy from UCLA, Anthony Barr is really good. C.J. Mosley from Alabama is going to be really good. Hopefully he's a giant. Just putting that out there. But I love watching the linebackers because I love the drills that they do. They don't just stick to, all right, back up, move your feet, turn your hips. They give them the ball. They throw balls at them, see what their hands are like. They try and get them rushing around the edge. They see how they look rushing the passer. I think linebackers are the most fun to watch. And, quarterbacks are sometimes fun, but in that scenario, in that instance, really they're only looking at a few things from quarterbacks. You can't tell that much from a quarterback when there's not someone rushing.
No, yeah.
That's why it's so tough doing this combine stuff, because you can only measure so much when you're measuring these guys.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you're right because Jeff George combined well probably.
Exactly.
And Ryan Leaf combined well.
Who's the guy from the Jacksonville Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert tested well.
Hold on, you know what? Blaine Gabbert still has...
Do not make a case for Blaine Gabbert right now.
He still has
I'll
some
leave.
time.
I'll take the headphones. I'll leave if you make a case for Blaine Gabbert being worthy of the pick he got.
Oh! Well, I didn't say he was worthy of the pick he got.
That's my whole point.
I'm just saying he still has time. I'm just saying he still has time to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I'm sure he can start for the Jacksonville Jaguars any week. But he didn't. It was because of his combine stuff and his size. That's what I worry about Blake Bortles now. And I think Blake Bortles is better than Blaine Gabbert. But there are guys that are quarterbacks and they test well and their size is well. Guys take a first-round flyer on him.
Now,
and Blaine Gabbert's a backup in Jacksonville.
Bortles fans out there, don't freak out when I say this. He is the closest person in this year's draft that reminds me of a Jeff George, Ryan Leaf kind of
could be
scenario.
I like his size. I think that'll help him, but there are a lot of things that go into playing quarterback, and I'm with you. I think he has a scent of the Leaf or a Gabbert or one of those guys.
And I want to say the guy, he's not really under the radar because, he goes to a school that helps him pass, and he has a notable brother, but I think Derek Carr.
I love that you said it.
He has the potential in this year's draft to be that steal of the draft.
A Russell Wilson in the third round.
Russell Wilson in the third round.
He's not as good as Russell Wilson, but that kind of pick, sneaky in the third round.
Because I think, no offense David Carr, but I think Derek's tougher than David Carr, too. So he can
let's not forget David Carr was the number one overall
pick
that's
true.
So.
That's true. And I think maybe his lack of toughness might have to do with him getting hit, 70 times, whatever it is, for the Texans and getting sacked all those times. So now he's a little,
And those Texans.
He started to be a little gun shy later in his career. But
he was Eli's backup for a couple of years.
That's true. That's true.
I'm a David Carr fan.
I'm a
Derek Carr fan.
I just think Derek Carr is going to have a better quote unquote NFL career than his brother.
I do too. And the expectations for David were a lot higher. But
yes.
I completely agree that if you want to steal quarterback, and maybe he's not there in the third round, maybe someone takes a second round pick on him. But I think Derek Carr could be a very, very interesting quarterback. And a guy. Okay, I picked him as one of my Heisman picks last year, because I thought his team was solid. He had his weapon receiver back, and he was going to play big games. Taj Boyd.
Ooh.
I know he's undersized, and I know he makes mistakes sometimes, but the game that he plays, he could be a game manager sometime in the NFL. He could be a stopgap quarterback in the NFL. I like Taj Boyd's career, and if he can develop a little bit more speed, I know he's not as fast as he should be when he's that undersized. But he's got the arm strength, he's got the ability to make throws. If he could be a game manager, I like Taj Boyd.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Not Joey Harrington, but the guy that came after him in Oregon. Oh man, he was a perennial. He was a top 5 consensus pick.
Is he playing in the league right now?
No. Oh my gosh, you know what?
Dennis Dixon?
It was in the late 90s. It was, I want to...
You got me then. I wasn't following the Oregon Ducks in the late 90s.
You know what? Yeah. We'll get back to that. I might come back to that next week. I
like Taj Boyd, though. That was my point. I think he could be a guy, maybe in the 5th round, you take him and you put him on your practice squad, and, he could be...
What about Teddy Bridgewater?
I worry about his size. I think he's a little small for me if he can put on some bulk. I think he's in the 191 range. If he could get up to the 200-pound range.
Really? They list him at 220.
Bridgewater? Oh, there's no way he's 220. No, he was
which would make him only 2 pounds lighter than Taj Boyd.
Yeah, and Boyd's what, 2 inches shorter than him.
Yeah, I was gonna say Taj Boyd. When it says 6'3" 1/4.
Yeah, and he's undersized.
You know what? I really like when athletes do that, because they want you to know that, not only am I 6 foot, I'm just a little bit above 6 foot. So there's no worries of me shrinking and becoming 5'11".
I like Taj Boyd. I like Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater had some big games at Louisville, and it's tough to say that because Louisville's a basketball school, not a football school.
He did good things for that school, basically. Yeah.
He can make the throws. He can make all the throws. He had a lot of weapons at Louisville, which kind of skewed his stats. But no, I think he'll be a good quarterback. There are a lot of good quarterbacks. I don't think there's a franchise guy coming out. I like Johnny Manziel. I think he could be a franchise guy.
I was gonna say, you know what? See, this is why we're here.
Yeah.
My next question, it's a great segue, by the way, to my next question. So now since we're playing GM, all day here.
We always play GM.
Jadeveon Clowney or Johnny Manziel if you're Texans?
Number one pick?
Number one pick.
Clowney, because Clowney and Watt on the ends would be scary. There are quarterbacks that the Texans can take in the second or third round. You don't necessarily need Manziel. I understand the brilliance of the move. He played at Texas A&M, and it would be awesome to have him in Houston. The Texans desperately need a quarterback. Although I like the guy they had, Case Keenum. I think you work around him maybe. I mean, the Texans should get a quarterback in this draft, but he wasn't so horrible. But I would definitely take Clowney and put Clowney and Watt together and roll with that.
Oh, whoa, that was so weird. Sorry, I was listening to you and I clicked on NBA Draft Tracker, and it said the Kansas City Chiefs, and this was like a mock draft.
Yeah, this is a recap from
last year. Yeah, but I was like, wait, where did the Texans go? And I thought my first thought was, is this mock draft saying that the Chiefs are going to trade? Never mind. Okay,
Clowney's my first pick.
You know what? I don't know whether or not I 100% agree or not, but based on all the quarterbacks that are in this draft, if the Houston Texans don't trade that pick, they should take Clowney. Mm-hmm. Basically, is how I feel about that.
I agree. And you know what? They should explore their trade options.
Oh man, I'm sorry, folks out there.
Jeez, DK.
I've come down a little under the weather this weekend, and I was doing fine, and I just got caught with a little coughing fit.
You'll be all right.
Oh man, I won't die on you guys. I promise.
Don't do anything bad. I think the Texans should explore trading the pick. It's a little late in the process now, but there are suitors who
draft day trades.
Yeah, I think they should look to drop down a little bit. It's
maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, and then take Clowney there if Clowney's available. But I think Clowney should be the guy in Houston for the number one pick if they keep it.
I think you can trade the number one pick to say the Raiders or the Browns because I don't think if you go down to 5, St. Louis, Jacksonville, and Cleveland need way too much help on offense to draft Clowney. Mm-hmm. And if you're at 5, you can get him there cheaper than you had that number 1 overall. And the Raiders would definitely give up some pieces to get that number 1 pick, hopefully to get a franchise quarterback.
Johnny Manziel.
You know what? Oh, you know what?
Oh, that's a pressure.
He would be, and now think about his attitude. Okay, he would be a perfect fit for the black and silver, or silver and black.
You get a little Rod Marinovich. Todd and Rod. Is that it? Todd Marinovich?
Oh yeah, Todd.
Is that a little vibe from him?
Oh man.
Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, the Robo quarterback.
Like the first time he threw a touchdown and fake signing signatures, the whole black hole would go nuts.
Well, I'm sure they would. They go nuts for just about anything.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my dig at Oakland for the day. I'm done. That's my dig at Oakland.
All right. Well, Sean, do you have any other thoughts about the number 1 pick or Jadeveon Clowney or anything like that?
Honestly, if I'm Houston, I'm looking to trade down.
Yeah.
Maybe get a top 5 pick.
No, I agree.
But if they can really sit down and think about it, Clowney and J.J. Watt together.
That would be the safest pick.
So scary because I'm a New York Giants fan, and I saw them win a Super Bowl with Justin Tuck, Osi Umenyiora, and Michael Strahan.
Yeah.
That's not a bad route.
But you know what might be making them gun shy about taking him number 1 overall, though.
Oh, of course.
And you know it's 2 words. It's Mario Williams.
Yes, it is. And where is he? No longer there.
Buffalo. And the Bills fans are wondering where he's at as well.
Yep, they are.
So... Anyway, that wraps up the NFL Draft Combine. That wraps up our congratulations to good old boy Junior and win the Daytona 500.
Dale Jr.
And that also does a little recap of the Olympics. We'll take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we'll have some more sports action for you, probably some men's college basketball talk. Until then, though, enjoy the stylings of DJ Enoch and the words of the oh-so-famous Mick Mucus. See you in a sec.
What are these guys?
I don't know, but I'm basically just ignoring them. I don't care. Can I move this?
Does that guy have a baby bag on right now? No. Is that a backpack? I don't know. I can't tell, folks. I'm going to find a way to extrapolate that YouTube clip of you doing the Dale Jr. congratulations voice, and I'm gonna make something out of it. I'm gonna put it on the internet. I'm gonna put it on KDVS, and we're gonna do that. I'm gonna show Joey, because Joey's gonna be very happy that you did that. It's gonna be awesome.
Hold
it's gonna
on.
be good.
Let me make sure this thing actually did what I wanted to do.
Do what I want with the computer. Do what I want. That was really stupid. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop, Gaga. I'm gonna stop. All right, I have.
I'm David DK Kim, and Hey,
That's
welcome
you, but you're not talking.
to the basement.
That's so weird.
Right.
That's technology, right there. Techno babble. Is that what we like to do? Techno. I have like 10 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm on the meter.
Oh shit. Okay.
You want to talk Duke Syracuse?
Yeah, let's just talk Duke Syracuse and then Duke North Carolina.
And we can talk about how Duke beat the #1 team in the nation and yet fell one spot in the rankings.
Yeah, right.
Not giving enough love to the North Carolina Tar Heels. First and only time you'll hear me say more love to the North Carolina Tar Heels. Except for that second time that I just said it explaining it to you. That would be the second time you hear it. Probably the last time.
All right, so
probably
let me
won't
mute
say
that.
it.
Okay. All right.
Do what I want now.
Do you wanna intro?
I got nothing today.
Okay.
I'll come up with one next week. Actually,
I got one for you.
All right. Oh, God, I love when you have one. This is gonna be exciting.
안녕하세요. Yeah. Wait a minute. Did that record?
I hope that recorded.
Oh, okay. Oops. You know what? I can do it again.
Well, hit play. See if it works. You did it. Oh my God, that was amazing.
Let me do that again, though.
That was crazy. Crazy.
안녕하세요. Hey, welcome back from break. And that welcome back from break was especially for my PIC behind me, Sean Steimel. And in case you guys aren't Korean, I basically said, I want to say hello in Korean, but it was a very, I want to say it was a very formal hello.
So formal hello.
Just know that, I didn't bow, I didn't do the 안녕하세요 like that, but hey, we have to change it up from time to time.
That was good. That was a good change. That was like a split change.
And for all of those on YouTube, the face that Sean made when I said that was priceless.
I was in awe. I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now? It was so cool.
Oh man, see, folks, when you listen to In the Basement with Sean and the Heckler, not only do you get to listen to the stylings of a punk legend and a KDVS legend, Mick Mucus, and get to listen to the bumpers of a legitimate DJ in DJ Enoch of Las Vegas. You get to learn different languages like Korean.
And
there you go, by me.
Mario voices.
And especially Super Mario voices.
And Southern Hick that loves NASCAR.
And
you learn things every day.
We are an educational program.
Man.
Come on. Who wants to be our 10th listener? We're only at 9 right now. Anyway, that's a sorry, that's an inside joke. You have to been listening since episode 1 to understand what we're talking about.
Yes, you did.
Anyway, that was a long minute and a half after the break there. It was almost another break. But we're going to talk some men's college basketball here for you. And in case you don't know, we are both Duke Blue Devil fans. So it was an interesting weekend for the Duke Blue Devils, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
They blew a lead in Chapel Hill to the hated ones of North Carolina.
It's an understatement.
Blue lead. I mean, I watched it. I was very disappointed. I thought they had that win just in the bag.
They did.
But
Marcus Page had other thoughts.
Yeah, you know what? I can understand why Carolina was perceived to be so good in the beginning of the year, in the preseason.
He's a good point guard.
And they lost there, and then they split the weekend because they upset the #1 team at the time in the country, Syracuse Orangemen. I want to say they won by 6, 66-60, was it?
I think it was 4 because all the technical.
Oh, okay, so 66-62, something like that.
Yeah, around there.
Now, if you listen to the show, you know we talked about the first meeting between Syracuse and Duke, and both of us being Duke fans. And I said that the Rodney Hood attempted dunk at the very end there, where he got blocked/fouled that wasn't called, that basically led to the Syracuse win. I said that was a good non-call because in that situation they made contact with the ball. It was an unintentional foul. Rodney Hood was attacking the basket, so he was initiating most of that contact anyway. So good no call in a big game like that. Now, I said that because, well, that's how I felt. Now, as a Duke fan, I didn't hear anybody else in the media or any of the talking heads on TV basically, give any sympathy for Duke. They were just like, oh, they should have, what a great game. They should have held the lead. They were lucky. They were lucky to be in overtime anyway with the three. They shouldn't be complaining about a foul call.
Yeah.
Now, it's rare that in my lifetime that Duke faces a team where the people on TV late after the game, win or loss, basically tells Duke to be quiet and stop whining. It rarely happens. Now, fast forward to this weekend, Syracuse loses, and that last game was in the Carrier Dome. And then fast forward to last weekend, Duke is in Cameron Indoor with the Crazies. And if you're looking at ESPN.com, it's a perfect picture of the Crazies standing behind, I want to say, is that fair?
Michael Gabinajay, a former Dookie, the only guy in college basketball history to play for the two most winningest coaches, Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Bain.
Oh, that makes more sense of the intensity of these guys' faces, because I was like, man, they look more intense than the normal inbound pass. Anyway, so Duke beat Syracuse in Cameron Indoor, and the questionable call near the end of the game is, was it Rodney Hood again?
No, C.J. Fair going up for the...
No, but on defense this time. It was Rodney Hood,
yeah,
right?
It was Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood slid to the position, and C.J. Fair had not yet initiated the upward movement yet, according to the officials. And so when contact was made, it was called a charge and went the other way, which instantly brought Jim Boeheim to the court, and he got ejected for his troubles.